Mayor Mamdani pulled another cosplay. He announced a $31 million penalty against owners of 2 apartment buildings in the Bronx. And this is ignoring the fact that New York City is, in fact, the largest slumlord in the land, with 177,000 units, which are perennially without properly working elevators and with rodent infestation. But no less, Mayor Mamdani is a skilled politician. So this $31 million was against 2 projects in the Bronx. The city says they've seized approximately $900,000 in bank accounts, that Fannie Mae had already started foreclosure proceedings on this building. And the problems in the building were vermin infestation, which are rats and mice, non-working elevators, lack of heat and hot water. Very familiar things to NYCHA tenants. Mayor Mamdani is quoted to say, "No landlord is above the law, but penalties alone are not enough. We are taking control of the situation to make sure repairs are made and conditions are permanently improved. Every New Yorker deserves safe, dignified housing," unquote. Unless, of course, you're tenants of Mamdani's housing, then that's a different situation. His officer, Sia Weaver, who famously was quoted as saying that homeownership is white supremacy, said, quote, "The city will work hand in hand with organized tenants to deliver a fair city for all New Yorkers." Again, unless it concerns social housing in New York City, which is NYCHA. City housing is not about safe, dignified housing. NYCHA owns 177,565 apartments. And they had to enter into consent decree with the federal government, the Housing and Urban Development, in 2019 for lead paint, vermin infestation, non-working elevators, covering up defective equipment from inspectors, lack of hot water, lack of heat. NYCHA agreed to be monitored, that they would fix the lead paint, they would fix the rodent problems, and that they would pay $1.2 million in capital improvements over a span of 5 years and committed to $700 million thereafter annually. And this was to avoid federal receivership, which is a form of bankruptcy, or this is a form of foreclosure, in fact, just like the 2 buildings in the Bronx. Oh, and the New York City Housing Authority gets from the federal government approximately 70% of its budget. How's that? $1 to $1.4 billion in operating subsidies, over $2 billion in Section 8 vouchers, and $600 to $700 million annually in funds for repairs. Where does it go? And they still can't make social housing work. And the mayor would like to have more social housing. Social housing equals failed housing. But for Mayor Mamdani, it's not a failure if he can get more and more of government, more and more resources under the control of his government. So let's compare the $31 million penalty against these 2 buildings for 500 units and what that would mean for the city of New York with 177,000 units. Back of the envelope calculation says that translates to $11 trillion penalty that the city should assess against itself and consent to repair the conditions in New York City housing. This is preposterous, as $11 trillion is 1/3 the size of the U.S. economy annually. It's also 86 times the annual budget of New York City for everything: pensions, salaries, road repair, sanitation, all of it. 86 times if we worked it out per unit of NYCHA housing. This is such showmanship. It feels so good to talk about, we're here for the tenants, we're going to make sure you have safe and affordable housing, it's going to be dignified, when in fact you failed to do that in your own house. It is an example of the failure of social housing, which is social speak for government owned. It is so disingenuous of our mayor to make these statements about private landlords when New York City continues to be the largest slumlord in the land. But hey, that's why Mayor Mamdani is such a good politician, and he does it with a smile. Thank you.